2023 is the 20-year anniversary for a ton of iconic movies, and if this doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what will. So today we're taking a trip down memory lane to remind you how many great movies came out 20 years ago this year. One of the most iconic roles ever was created in 2003, and we're talking about Captain Jack Sparrow. Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl came out in 2003. When this was announced, I thought, it's based on a ride? Okay. However, they nailed it. This movie came out of nowhere with the CGI, the practical effects, and even the story itself. This movie was the start to a franchise with 4 more sequels on the way after this one.
You will always remember this as the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow.
Quentin Tarantino, one of the best directors of our time, gave us his most unique, bloody tale of revenge ever with Kill Bill. The style of this movie is something special, with its influences pulled directly from Japanese films. This is the only Tarantino movie that actually got a sequel in Kill Bill Volume 2. The movie had a ton of personality and tons of iconic moments, just like this.
Mommy, I'm home. Hey, baby. How was school?
I will never forget the first time I saw this one. I would have loved to hear the pitch for this. Give Jim Carrey the power of God and let him loose. I'm in. The movie got a sequel called Evan Almighty, but no one remembers that one. Hands down, one of the funniest scenes in any movie that I've ever seen is when Bruce is messing with Evan live on air. Next up is Holes, and I still, to this day, find myself singing the song from the movie.
2 suits, 2 tokens in hand. I got no respect cause I'm the new man. Got my shovel, shoes full of sand. Check out the tag, the name is Caveman.
I remember when this came out, this was the hotness. This was the movie to see back when I was in elementary school. This was one of Shia LaBeouf's first movies. We essentially got to see 2 stories being told and eventually connecting towards the end, which was one of the first times I ever saw that in a movie at that age. Holes is a certified classic as far as I'm concerned. Now with this next one, I know exactly what you're about to say. But Gavin, Matrix Reloaded isn't as good as the first. Yeah, I know, but you gotta understand something. Being a kid in about the 5th or 6th grade, seeing all these slow motion fight scenes were probably one of the coolest things that I have ever seen with my own eyes at that point. Neo fighting the army of Agent Smiths, the highway scene. Watching it now, I know how badly it's aged, but at the time, there was nothing like it, except for the first one. Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat. Now this is an underrated movie in my opinion. The Cat in the Hat is a movie that should get more love. Yes, The Grinch was ahead of its time, but people are sleeping on this. Michael Myers as the giant man cat whose only objective is to cause chaos, it was hilarious. And you know what the best part about it is? It's got jokes that I didn't know were funny until I got older, so it's a lot of fun to watch even 20 years later.
Dirty hoe. I'm sorry, baby. I love you.
Come on, cat.
Next up is the classic Finding Nemo, but first things first. Take a second and realize what we had during this time frame. Pixar was the biggest animation studio at the time. Coming off of Monsters Inc., we got Finding Nemo. We saw the realistic fur in Monsters Inc., and Pixar was like, oh yeah? Look at this. We got iconic characters in Dory, Nemo, Crush, and even Darla. The technical achievement of Finding Nemo needs to be remembered and appreciated because it still holds up even to this day 20 years later. Now let's talk about a Christmas classic that was created in 2003. I'm talking about Elf. When I heard of the concept of Elf starring Will Ferrell, I 100% in my soul, without a shadow of a doubt, thought that this movie was going to be rated R. As odd as that sounds, hear me out. Leading up to Elf, we saw Will Ferrell in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Zoolander, and Old School. Obviously I was wrong, but I mean, come on, wouldn't that have been a funny movie? But what we got instead was a Christmas movie that is so good and full of Christmas spirit that it cements itself at the top of the best Christmas movies of all time. Oh yeah, and Peter Dinklage was in it.
He's an angry elf.
Look at you! Ow!
Here we are, everyone. This right here, what we are all here for. Going into that theater in December of 2003, I had no idea that I was about to see something. I was about to see the best movie of all time. Just kidding. It's Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, which is my favorite movie of all time. I have stood behind that for 20 years since I first saw that movie. Nothing had a more epic, perfect, emotional ending to a trilogy. You want to talk about movies that were ahead of its time? This is the one. The fact that a movie came together as perfect as this did is unbelievable. And if you haven't watched the extended edition, let me tell you that once you do, you will never go back. In fact, in celebration of the best movie of all time, the extended cut will be in theaters April 13th, so make sure to clear your calendars because for one night only, you can experience the masterpiece the way it should be experienced. There are more iconic movies that came out 20 years ago, but these are the movies that resonated with me the most. How many of these movies have you seen? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you liked the video, hit that like button and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for movie reviews, news, rankings, recaps, and more. Until next time everyone, see you later.